I'm John. I'm the head of admissions here at Think Tank. This is a Think Tank graduate, Nathan Hawes. Nathan is currently at Barnstorm, I think that's right. Yeah.
Barnstorm Visual Effects, yes.
Sweet, sweet. Okay, so this is our short interview series with our graduates as they transition into the real world. Nathan, what were you doing before Think Tank?
Well, let me start by saying thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I think it's really important to give back to the community. Saw John's post on LinkedIn and figured this is something I feel really passionate about. So I just wanted to help in any way I could. But
Awesome.
sorry to ramble. Back to your
No, no,
question.
ramble.
What was I doing before Think Tank? So before Think Tank, I was doing my undergrad. I did an undergrad at Queen's University where I studied film and media. And while I was there, I didn't specialize in anything in particularly. We just kind of dabbled in a bunch of different things. And I took this one post-production class, and I had this keying assignment that we did on After Effects, and I loved it. And the whole class I really loved, but that specific assignment kind of drove me to taking an interest into the compositing. And after I finished at Queens, I figured I wanted to keep learning and I wanted to specialize, and that's kind of what led me to Think Tank.
Awesome. How did you find us?
Well, I did my research. Once I realized I want to kind of pursue the visual effects world in Vancouver, I kind of narrowed it down to a couple of schools and I did some interviews. I checked out some different schools, did some tours, and I had a conversation with you, John. It feels like a long time ago, but also felt like yesterday when I first had that initial interview or Zoom call with you, sort
Yeah,
of exactly like this.
exactly.
Um, so we kind of had that conversation. You answered a bunch of my questions, and then we planned in like a in school tour. And just from like the moment I stepped in to the moment I stepped out, like everyone was so nice that felt very warm, felt very welcoming. I loved that. I loved what everyone was doing and how passionate everyone was about their crafts and all the different like faculties and paths within Think Tank of like characters, animation, environment, compositing, the list goes on, right? There's so many different endless possibilities. In some ways, it kind of felt like Hogwarts, where people were assigned into different houses. And I thought that was really cool that you can kind of go and find your own path and pursue pursue a career in whatever you kind of chose
That's
to stick with you. You know, it was
This-
it was really cool, and everyone I spoke to was really nice.
I love the fact that you used a Harry Potter reference in here. We are officially Hogwarts.
No, no, for sure too. Like, and especially when you're actually in the school. Like, I was a on-campus student from Vancouver, so when you walk through the halls and there's the different rooms, really did feel like the corridors and the different houses. So, yeah, I often use that that metaphor, that
That's
expression.
it's amazing. So just for clarification, Nathan did the 64-week 3D animation, visual effects, and game art program, which is the on-campus program. So you already said a bunch of stuff that you enjoyed about it, but what was the experience like? Like, was it intense? Was it scary? Was it fun? Like, what are your words?
I mean, well, it's like the whole roller coaster of emotions. From like the day you start and the day you step in, and you assign your first computer to the day you leave. Like, firstly, you're gonna leave as like a completely changed artist. From the moment you start to the moment you leave, like it is just constant education, just constant learning over and over again. Especially those first two terms where you're doing everything, and then you pick your specialization after those two terms. Well, this is specifically for from my experience, the 64 on campus program. You spend the first two terms getting a taste of everything, figuring out what you like, what you don't, what you do well, and where you can improve. Um, so obviously, there's like peaks and valleys in terms of where you find success and where you don't, and where you need to improve. But the people that you meet and the support that you get was phenomenal. Like I can't thank the school enough for how much they kind of supported me as an artist. Because before going into Think Tank, in terms of visual effects, I really didn't have all that much experience outside of the couple classes that I took during my undergrad. So I like to think I came in pretty raw. So um, it was a really good experience, and it's like it tests you too. It challenges you in ways that you wouldn't think it would at times. Learning all these different softwares and having all this new information flooded into you, it definitely is challenging at times. But with the support that the school provides you, that you can do it. As
Yeah.
corny as it sounds, like absolutely you can do it. You just need to be willing to put the hours in and be passionate about it.
Yeah.
And you'll find your way. But yeah, to pinpoint one or two particular emotions and how I felt about it, I couldn't. Like you will get the full spectrum of emotions throughout Think Tank, but it's for the best. Honestly, I wouldn't have had it any other way. I'm really grateful that I had that experience.
I'm glad you used the full spectrum of emotions as you go through, because that
Yeah.
plays into the next question. So everybody has that moment where they freak out and they think, "Am I good enough? Should I quit?" Sometimes that happens while you're in school. Sometimes it happens before you start. Sometimes it happens after you graduate. Did you have a moment like that?
Yeah, I know. Definitely. Well, just speaking generally, like in visual effects and especially learning, you're going to run into software issues. You're going to run into all sorts of issues, rendering issues. They will arise. You know, it's like inevitable. It's just something you're going to have to learn to troubleshoot and learn to deal with, and definitely learn to like ask for help. So if this is an area that you're looking to get into, you will hit some roadblocks along the way, but don't let that stop you. There's ways to get around for sure. But I do have a story where I felt like I started to doubt myself or question myself. And to be honest, that my roadblocks kind of came very early, if I'm going to be honest with you, because I started to have some doubts whether if this was even the right path for me. So in my first term, where I sat in class was in between. On my right, I had the teacher's desk, and on my left, I had subjectively like the best modeler in our class. So every time we had any sort of like sculpting or modeling assignment, I didn't have anyone to compare to on my right, and the person on my left was amazing. And if she's watching this right now, she knows who she is, but she definitely served as a form of inspiration, but also in some ways doubt. And it wasn't her fault. That's on me. You shouldn't really compare yourself to anyone. The only person you should compare yourself to is yourself. But I tried to use this as motivation to try to keep up with her.
Yeah.
And whenever I had questions, I'd also ask, and she'd be very responsive and helping me out. But yeah, no, I definitely found at times, like especially when we were reviewing our assignments, that we'd go around the room and she was right next to me. So I just felt the contrast between our two works was something that it kind of got me down at certain points for sure. But in the long run, it definitely like it made me a better artist and it pushed me. Um, but yeah, no, it was challenging for sure, especially to have like the best person in my class right next to me. But there's a saying that I like, comparison is the thief of joy, you know?
Mm.
So the only person you really you should compare yourself is yourself. You don't compare yourself to anyone else. Like as long as you are a better version of yourself from the last week,
Yeah.
then you have something to be proud of. Absolutely. And it's like it's interesting because her and I went down different disciplines, and by the time I got to our alumni term, she actually was kind of consulting me for help in compositing for her environment and stuff. So that was kind of like a full circle moment, considering she was the one I was always bugging and trying to ask for help in my first term. Then a lot of months later, she ended up coming to me and asking for some advice on her compositing. So it's funny how things like that end up working out, but it's important to not get caught up in the present and kick yourself too hard for when you're feeling down. Because it like the school happens fast. Like there's so much information that's pumped into you within the short amount of time. So you really don't have time to self-loathe and get down on yourself. You really got to get back on that horse as soon as possible. And honestly, like the sooner you do, the better things are to come.
That's that's such an awesome story. Um, Imposter syndrome's a thing, right? Like that is going to
For
travel through
sure, 100%.
in a visual career like this. Like there's always going to be somebody better, and I don't know. Like listening to you say it, I've heard so many of our instructors, like Raf, our lead supervisor, who, you know, done work on some of the biggest movies in history and still gets imposter syndrome, but also still gets friends from the industry to mentor him. Like,
Yeah.
even like that way, you're always pushing, you're always getting better, and oh man, that's wicked. Okay, so you've gone from graduation. When did you graduate?
I graduated from Think Tank last fall,
Last fall.
so
Okay,
fall of 2025.
right. And so now here we are, early in 2026. You've been working at
Almost spring-ish.
almost
Yeah.
spring, yeah. So you're well, technically it is spring. We've passed March
Oh yeah,
21st,
I
right?
guess.
Yeah, we're here, although it is cold
Doesn't feel
outside.
like it in Vancouver sometimes,
Doesn't
but
feel like
yeah.
it. So what was the transition like from graduation to your first opportunity?
Um, well, I mean, it's a bit scary for sure. Like you're within the environment of think tank, it's like a nice bubble, and then all of a sudden you kind of wrap up your demo reel. And granted, there's no rush. Like think tank does a really good job of supporting their alumni to the point where they finish and polish up their demos. So I didn't feel like a rush or anything to get out. But no, it was definitely daunting in some respects to kind of finish that demo and now get tossed into the real world. But I feel like I was set up with the right tools and with the right support through my education at Think Tank to be able to like spearhead as many opportunities as I could as possible once I was kind of in that job market or starting to look for those positions. And I did get a lot of help, and I eventually landed a studio tour at the studio that I'm currently at, which kind of led me to like an entry position.
It's awesome.
Um, but yeah, you really just have to stay busy and keep pushing. Like you can't get, and like we said before, you really can't get down on yourself. It takes some people longer to find jobs. Sometimes they get them quickly. It is in some respects like the luck of the draw, but if you keep at it and stay consistent and just be relentless, like keep firing off those LinkedIn messages, go put your reel in front of as many people as possible. Like just have a passion for it and just not quit whenever you
Yeah.
feel like it.
Yeah.
You'll find the right fit eventually. And we were kind of talking about this before we started this interview that it really is looking up these days, despite what people might tell you or what you might read online. Like things are getting better within this industry, and I think it does have a really bright future. So just keep pushing. You'll find that opportunity eventually.
So that leads into my very last question here, and you kind of answered it already, but you can have another answer. If you were going to give one piece of advice to somebody who's thinking about going to school or who is in school for this stuff, what would it be?
Well, like I mentioned, think tank is, I can't sit here and say it's easy. It's not. It'll definitely challenge you. And like I said, it'll run you through the whole spectrum of emotions. But you really got to do a little bit of soul searching and like dig deep down. Like, is this something that I really love? Like, is this something that I'm truly passionate about? Is this something that I'm willing to push 40 hours a week on? Um, so I suppose it's maybe not so much advice, but what I implore you to do is to really dig deep and like ask yourself, like, is this something that I want to do? Is this something that I can see myself doing for extended period of time? And is this something that I think I would love doing? This is something that I could enjoy. This is something I could make a career out of. You really, really need to be passionate about this type of thing and passionate about your craft to find success in all this. So, um, I suppose my piece of advice would be to kind of dig deep, think about why you're doing this, think about what you love about this, and see if you're a good fit for it in just in terms of that passion. And if you are, like, go for it and don't stop. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it and all that other stuff for sure. But yeah, just be relentless, keep pushing, because if you do have that passion, ultimately things will come. You just kind of have to roll with the punches, keep improving your craft and make as many friends as you can along the way. But yeah, just make sure underneath all of that, really decide if this is something you want to pursue
I love that.
for sure.
I love that. In the 20 some years now that I've been working with people going into this industry, that is one of my favorite pieces is just like do something you love and dig deep. So, dude, that's fantastic advice. All right, Nathan, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.